Hello everybody, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is October the 3rd. I've got another Halloween drawing, another Halloween treat for you today. Today is going to be an actual villain. I'm moving a little bit away from the Fab Five. We'll get back to those. Maybe you imagine that I would go straight through all five of those, and I thought I would too, but I decided not to. Before I jump straight into my drawing, I'm going to remind, as always, that these drawings are not my original art. I talk at greater length about where I find them and why in the first video in this series, so if you're interested in finding out more about that, go ahead and check out the first video in this series. But with that out of the way, I will show you the villain drawing that I have for today, which is Kaa, the python from the Jungle Book. And I made a whole scene here with Kaa hypnotizing Mowgli and being fought off by Bagheera over here, the panther. I liked this sequence. I like the happy, about to meet his doom look on Mowgli's face. And I just thought it was a fun scene to try to recreate. So I enjoyed making this, and I'm happy with the way that it came out. The character of Kaa, the python, originally appeared and was invented by Rudyard Kipling, originally appeared in Kipling's The Jungle Book. But when Kipling wrote The Jungle Book, in the book version, Kaa is not a villain. Kaa is one of Mowgli's protectors, sort of like Bagheera and Baloo in the Disney version. Kaa is also one of the animals that's trying to help and guide Mowgli in the book. In the book, there is an evil snake named Thu, who is a cobra, who tries to get at Mowgli, and Kaa helps Mowgli find his way out of that situation in the novel. But in the movie, the Disney movie, they decided to make Kaa a villain because, well, Disney was unsure whether or not people would be able to accept a benevolent snake of some sort, that he figured it'd be easier for people to accept a villainous snake, so they made him a villain. They were unsure at first about even having a secondary antagonist or having a snake as a secondary antagonist in the movie, secondary to Shere Khan the tiger, which is the movie's main villain. Some of the people in the animation studio were pushing for a wolf character from the novel to be the secondary antagonist, but they had just recently worked on The Sword in the Stone, in which there are lengthy sequences of there being a secondary wolf or canine antagonist, and Walt didn't want to go down that route again either, so they decided to use Kaa from the novel. The legendary animator Frank Thomas, one of Walt's 9 old men, created a scene that appears in the film of Kaa nearly eating Mowgli, and then everybody in the studio loved it, and they wanted to create more. So they created a second scene for Kaa, and they gave him a song, the famous "Trust in Me" scene. The music was Sherman Brothers music that was a scrapped song idea from Mary Poppins, and they repurposed it for this. And eventually, the Trust in Me and the hypnosis scene where Kaa's eyes get all hypnotic, that was all eventually animated with Frank Thomas in tandem with Milt Kahl, another legendary animator, one of Walt's 9 old men. And they sort of legendarily brought this character to life. Another big aspect of bringing this character to life that, of course, I would mention is the voice acting talent of Sterling Holloway. Sterling Holloway, you are really familiar with his voice if you've watched a decent, even a passing amount of Disney. He was involved, his voice was involved in a lot of things. He was the voice of Winnie the Pooh, the original Winnie the Pooh, and the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. He narrated a lot of shorts and projects like Lambert the Sheepish Lion, The Cold-Blooded Penguin from The Three Caballeros, Peter and the Wolf, Mickey and the Beanstalk. He was a narrator in a lot of things. If you're still not 100% sure who I'm talking about, I'll try my best at doing a Sterling Holloway impression. Oh, bother. He's kind of got that high tenor voice that's up here, and he has a strange strange cadence, like this, like that. And it's a very famous voice. It's a really cool affectation that he has, and was used to great effect in characters like the Cheshire Cat and Winnie the Pooh. In later years, after Sterling Holloway was older and then eventually passed away, a lot of his characters were taken over by Jim Cummings, who has sort of an affinity for mimicking that sort of style. With Winnie the Pooh especially, he's sort of the official guy for that now. And I talked about Jim Cummings' work in one of my previous videos in the last season. I believe in the Darkwing Duck video. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about Jim Cummings, check that out. But the great Sterling Holloway, represented here by Ka, and he sort of helped bring this character to life as well with his sort of lispy style. And it does kind of have a hypnotic trust in me. He's got that high sort of lilting voice, and it works really well for this character. And he also decided to add a little bit of a lisp, even though he doesn't really have one. And it just sort of made, for me, it really makes this character memorable and interesting. In the live-action remake version, Scarlett Johansson is the voice of Ka, and she did a fine rendition of it as well. I actually really enjoy that movie. I think when it comes to the live-action Disney movies, that one tends to be overlooked or glossed over more than some of the other ones. So it wasn't like the best movie in the world, but I thought it was very enjoyable, and thought they did a pretty good job with it. But overall, this was really fun to draw. Like I said, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. There's not much else to add. I mean, I talked about the voice acting talent and you know, the way that they came about with the character. This was the last animated movie that Walt Disney ever worked on himself before he passed away. This was sort of his last project. I don't think they actually even made it all the way through before Walt passed away, actually. I think they released the movie after he died. But it turned out great. This is one of my faves. Happy to do some Jungle Book villains this time around. And I hope that you enjoy this drawing of Ka. Thanks as always for joining me on these. I hope this was an enjoyable, just short time out of your day to check out some Disney drawings and maybe learn a little bit about some of these characters. Thanks as always for watching these. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing. Let me know if the Jungle Book is one of your favorites, or if Ka is one of your favorites, or if there's any tidbits that you know about the character, you know, that I didn't talk about, that I maybe glossed over. Let me know down below. Please follow me along for the rest of the season. There will be plenty more treats in store. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I hope that you're enjoying these and having a nice kickoff to the Halloween season. Until the next video, bye-bye.